What's mission prep? Tell me what that's all about.
Dumb lost it. Thank you for joining us. It's over. Edit this out. We're done.
Cross your arms. So I'm lazy. I want to hold. I'm gonna get my biceps all tired. Shit.
This is gonna be.
That's
different.
exactly what I went for. I propped the arm up a little bit higher and let this rest right, just like that.
Yeah. So if you guys watching on the YouTubes, as you can see, we're not in our studio. This is our first podcast we've done from somewhere else.
On location.
Yeah, on location with Jake and Kevin and Cruz. So our guest today is Cruz Gomez. He's back, return guest. And we are at his new facility for his gym, the Pit Idaho. And let's start with that. Tell us about the new place.
Oh man, it's like 2.5 times the size. It's under construction still. We're waiting on city stuff and all that good stuff, you know. I got an inspector coming by later today, hopefully, so that I can finish out the deck and then just really start getting going on the training here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, from experience, me and Kevin went to your old gym, and this is, like Kevin said earlier, much more room for activities.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, this is gonna be awesome. So, anyways, where to start?
So, Jesus Christ, you're looking at me like I know how to talk to people.
Because you're leading this one, man.
All right. So let's go down the rabbit hole, because I think last time I was even in there, I don't know exactly where you were a belt placement, but I know you're a black belt now in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, let's talk about that and who under who you got it from and everything.
Yeah, back when you guys started, I think I may have still been a purple.
Okay.
I think you'd just gotten your brown.
Is that what it was?
Or
I
no.
got my brown about 2.5 years ago.
I was one of your students when you went to get your brown. So yeah, you're right. You were purple in jiu-jitsu.
And then a little over 2.5 years ago, I got my brown, and then just got my black a couple months ago. But the guy I go through is Luigi Mondelli out of American Top Team in Connecticut. He has his own system. It's core Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, KORE. Mm-hmm. And I believe he's a 4th degree black belt or 5th degree. But I mean, he's the man. He's so good. It's insane how good he is. Like, it feels like I'm wrestling like a 14-year-old 90-pound little girl, and I still can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, he's so light when he wants to be, and he's like 220 or 230 pounds.
Wow.
It's like, that's how dainty he can be and how good he is.
Then he could probably make himself feel heavy as shit though too, huh?
Oh man, the black belt test was rough. I thought he was a 400-pound man for a minute.
Because I know from experience rolling with you, you learned that from somebody.
Well, actually, I didn't learn that from him.
Really? Because your top pressure, and I haven't rolled with a lot of people, but out of everybody I have rolled with, nobody applies top pressure like you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were weighing probably what, 200?
Yeah.
And you would feel like, and I'm way bigger than you, and you would feel so freaking heavy on top of me.
Yeah, no, he's really good at that too. I didn't learn that from him. I learned that from another coach who is more of an MMA / no-gi coach. He was a wrestler, Cal Poly, gymnast. That was Justin Frazier. That's who I learned all my top pressure from.
Okay. Yeah, because it's rough. Experiencing that a few times, especially like I would see, like when you would do a belt testing for somebody else, you would turn it up just a little compared to what you do in a normal class. And I'd watch you and I'm like, oh God, I feel bad for that guy underneath him right now. But yeah. So, and you've been a black belt in Hawaiian Kempo for a while.
Yeah.
Like quite a while.
2012.
And you're what, how many degrees now?
4th.
Yeah. So now you're a
double black belt.
Double martial arts black belt. That's awesome.
I'm that guy. I get to put it on my resume. I put black belt in this, black belt in this. I want to get a black belt in judo just because I think judo is awesome.
I think judo is awesome too.
I don't want to be that guy that goes, oh, I got all these black belts, so it looks like I'm a little less oh, that guy says he's got 3 black belts. Come
Yeah,
on, he just
yeah.
got 3 black belts. He's not that good.
Well, I think it's so different though nowadays because you grew up in the earlier days of MMA.
Yeah,
You were in it, and people could lie about their pedigree
yeah,
and get away with it because you didn't have the internet like you have today.
Mhm.
And it's now you can't lie about that shit. People will find you out.
Yeah, you
Yep.
can't be like a Rex Kwando, you know. Dude.
You think anybody wants to get round kicked in these bad boys?
Yeah.
Well, like you should just go get your black belt in Aikido.
What? Oh, keto? No, never.
Steven
It's
Seagal.
like slapsickle fighting or whatever.
No, but yeah, I think people could have back in the day lied about their pedigree and
And judo's a legitimate sport.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
It's a legitimate throwing combat sport.
Mhm.
That or something like sambo. I mean, I'm not just gonna go get a black belt. I'm obviously it's gonna take
Yeah,
some years.
yeah.
But I would like to, just because throwing people is just awesome.
there's
Yeah.
submissions in judo
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And sambo is like grappling with striking, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what
Yes.
like
but they got a lot of throws also.
Okay.
isn't that like super popular in Russia?
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's
Fedor
their-
came from, right?
Yeah.
Fedor?
Yeah, that's what. Okay, that's why I was
And
thinking that.
Khabib, I think was
Yeah,
the
he was a
sambo
sambo guy.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the animal. Yeah, that's that. I think things like judo are cool. Aikido is cool too, I guess, if that's your thing.
What's that other one? Tai Chi and
Yeah.
what's the dance fighting called?
Parkour or not parkour?
Hardcore parkour.
Oh, it's
Man.
from Jamaica. But I get why they do it.
Right.
They weren't allowed to practice, so they had to make it look like dancing.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
What I don't remember the name.
I think I know
now.
what you're talking about too, but I can't think of what it's called. But anyways, yeah, so and then for you people listening that haven't listened to Cruz before or know who he is, I guess tell them about your lineage a little bit, who you were under and all that good stuff. You kind of went over it in the first episode, but we have a lot of new people listening now, so
Yeah, I'm just a 4th degree black belt under Chuck Liddell and John Hackelman out of the Pit. I've been training with them for a little over 23 years now, I think. Started in
Jeez,
98. What
Grandpa.
year is it?
21, I think.
Yeah, 23 years back in February is when I started with Chuck. And then I started with John in May of 2001.
That's crazy.
So that's coming up with John. It'll be 20 years.
Did you see Chuck has a new podcast
Yeah, with
with Adam Ray?
Adam, yeah.
Which that comedian's funny, but I think your inspector's here.
Oh, of course.
So he's
Certainly
waiting on
will.
an inspector to come in, and we didn't think he was going to show up, but it looks like he's here. So we will pause this,
Take
Just
a
take some-
3-second break.
and we'll be back, and you guys won't even know it happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna go poop.
Good idea. All right, we are back.
Magic.
Cruz passed his inspection, if you guys were wondering.
I get to finish building. I'm excited.
Yes, this place will be open sooner than later. That's good. I don't even remember what we were talking about before you showed up.
Cool guy stuff.
Um,
Forgot.
I don't remember either. I think we were talking about what belt you were.
Oh no, it was the lineage where I. Came
Oh
from and
yes,
all
yes,
that.
yes. So you under Chuck Liddell, John Hackelman. You mentioned that.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of coaches, but there's only been a couple that really, really influenced everything I do, and that's guys like John Hackelman. He's been a big influence on my striking and my MMA and my coaching game. Chuck Liddell has just been my mentor from day one. He's taught me a lot of stuff. He's basically been like a big brother since the beginning to me. Then you got my other coaches, guys like Scott Adams, Justin Frazier, and then all the training partners that I've had, guys that have just had a big influence on my game. I see, we train together a lot. Guys like Tim Kennedy, Jake Shields, trained years with these guys, and they only help me get better. And I mean, these guys are so insanely good. How can you help but get better? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. We were talking about Chuck's new podcast.
That's right.
Just crossed my head. Yeah, with that comedian Adam Ray. That looks funny. Yeah.
I
That's
haven't
all.
had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of a little dichotomy because Chuck, with all of his fights, he's not the quickest witted person anymore. So having a comedian on there is kind of Be interesting. I haven't seen any of it
I
yet.
haven't either.
Yeah, it's gotta be interesting. 'Cause
Oh,
Chuck's
see,
got-
I do got to correct you a little bit. He is actually very quick witted. He just doesn't act that way in front of most people.
okay.
I've seen him basically hanging out at home, just chilling, and the guy's extremely quick witted.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's from what I've seen of him. It seems like he's still quick witted, but he's a fighter. He's been fighting his whole life, so there's probably slurred speech a little, unless he's always talked like that, which you know him better than we do.
I mean, yeah, not he hasn't really changed much.
No.
Like honestly, he just talks less,
Mm.
and I think that's a lot of what it is when it comes down to people saying, "Well, Chuck doesn't his speech this, his speech that." I mean, everyone as they get older starts slurring a little bit more. I mean, I've caught myself not speaking as eloquently, and you know what? Maybe I have a little bit of damage. He does. All
Yeah.
fighters do. It's
part of it.
Yeah, but he hasn't really changed much. He just doesn't talk very much.
I mean,
Okay.
he was a lot of people's favorite fighter, but he was one of my favorite fighters
Oh yeah.
forever. I mean, he was the first like mega star out of MMA.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, him and
we-
Randy Couture.
Yeah. But I mean, Chuck was on what cover of all the like ESPN magazine.
Mhm.
I mean, that was back when you were around him,
Yeah.
and he's the first one to really blow up. Because wasn't it on that? You had that one Ultimate Fighter fight with like Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
Chuck and Randy Couture were on the same fight, and that was huge. That was the biggest thing for the UFC ever at that point. But yeah. Anyways, his podcast is on that Drinking Bros network.
Oh, it is.
They're starting like a network of podcasts.
Oh,
But anyways, but yeah, that's cool. So where do we go from there? Your new facility, so that we're sitting in right now,
it's completely done.
it's done. You guys might as well come on down to the pin. No, it's got a little work to do, but Cruz is going to knock it out now that he got the okay. I guess can you talk about the difference between talk about where you started, like your garage, and like kind of the
Where I started here in
progression.
Idaho, or
yeah
where
when
I
you
started.
when you came to Idaho, the start of the Pit Idaho.
Oh man, we were renting a house from a buddy of mine who I was roommates with back in the early 2000s, like right when I moved into where I was living at the time. And he happened to have a house out here, and he found out I was moving out here. He's like, "Hey, I got a house. If you want to rent it," it's like, "Sure, I'll rent it for you. I'll make life easy." So we get out here. We're renting the house for a year, and it's got a garage. It's 11 feet wide, and I think 22 feet long. And the mat we had was 14 feet wide, so it curled up the walls, and it was only 16 feet long. So we had about 6 feet of space for just workout stuff. So we had one bag hanging off our squat rack. So it came out and it hung right there. And then we did our jiu-jitsu and our kickboxing there. And we did that for a year.
How many people did you have in that little garage?
At one time, I think we only had like maybe 4 or 5 people, but I think we had like 6 or 7, maybe 8 people in and out of it at different times when we were doing stuff. And then we moved to our new house after a year. We bought a house and it had a 2-car garage. So I just completely gutted it and turned it into a training facility, made it look super legit, like it was an actual gym. You didn't make it to that, did you?
Nope.
Actually, Sophie has pictures of both these places,
Mm-hmm.
and she took a picture of the place that we're moving out of, and we're going to do canvases of
That'd be
each
cool.
one, put them
Nice.
up in the gym
Show the
somewhere.
progression, what you guys have done.
And but we had a 2-car garage with a 16 wide, 18-foot long mat with one bag hanging.
Mhm.
Wow.
And at one point in time, I think we had 15 or 16 people in there kickboxing, doing a fitness class. We had a total of 30 members, different days, like different people coming in and out different days, but a total of 30 members before we moved into the spot that we're now leaving.
Mhm. And
And
I think that's when we showed up, my family, like right after you guys moved into that place.
okay, yeah.
Because I think we brought Logan in and you guys hadn't been there very long. You guys had just got in there, I think.
Yeah, it was March of 2018, I believe, when we moved into there.
Yeah, that'd be about
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, we brought my son in and then I started going and Kevin was going. And now,
Yeah,
now
we right out the gates, like we didn't have to go into debt or anything. Like
Mhm.
we had those 30 members and they paid us enough that we were able to afford the new spot, and
Mhm.
it worked out perfect. And same thing's happening again. So,
Yeah, because you guys just keep growing.
yep.
Yeah, that's cool. And like this place is, you said, more than double the size mat area.
Mat
And-
area and actual area.
Yeah. Well, now
Yeah.
you have showers and all that, which you didn't have at the last spot, or at the spot I guess you're currently at.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. That's cool to see people, especially people like I respect, grow and continue doing their thing and have success. That's awesome.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like what you're doing with your podcast. I mean,
That's
you
what-
guys are getting
that's what we're
bigger
trying
and
to do.
bigger.
That's what we're trying to do.
No, there's no try about it. How many more views are you getting each week now?
It's grown substantially. It's a slow burn though. Like from when because I mean, obviously we started with 0.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Which candle's gonna last longer? The one that burns out quick, or the one
Yeah.
that fucking slow burns?
And we've talked about that a little bit. Like we're kind of glad it didn't like blow up all of a sudden, because that shit doesn't usually last.
yeah.
But no, it was. I mean, we started with 0 people listening. I mean, maybe more than 0 people. A couple people that knew us would listen, and now we have people fucking all over the world
Yeah.
Yeah.
that listen.
And a long-term goal could be not having just the one thing, not just a podcast, but something else. This is a supplement to that thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a firm believer in, after like owning a CrossFit gym, like when I was in the military, being super fit was just part of your job. That's just part of what you do.
Yeah.
So I owned a CrossFit gym. I was like, man, I'm missing something. I'm just doing this now. I need something else. Right. That's the thing going in the podcast too. Like if you're looking forward and you really are someone who's moving forward and has that mentality, we already know now this isn't the only thing. This is going to get us going. We
Mhm.
start something else, and this is a supplementary thing to that. Just like, you know, for instance, like I'm not gonna say really be like those guys. Like Black Rifle has Black Rifle, but then they have a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's a thing they do. It keeps them out there, it keeps them talking to really cool people and networking, right? And it's just fun because you can just be just be asshole, be yourself. People like you, they do. If they don't, they
Well,
don't. You know.
that's like the guest we had on a couple weeks ago. He said, watching this, he can tell we're just, because I mentioned something about how this is a hobby, and he's like, yeah, and if you guys keep it like that, it's going to continue to grow. People
Yeah.
are watching you guys have fun.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And I like what Kevin was saying on turning this into something more, because we don't know what we want to do quite yet. We still don't. We're just playing this whole thing by ear. But the people that we get to have these conversations with stuff have made this, it's kind of growing into something more than
The
we thought it
biggest
would
thing
be.
I've noticed, and this doesn't go just for your guys' podcast, but for like my gym,
Mhm.
the more relatable you are to somebody, the more success you're going to have, because they're going to go, wait, looking at you, you're just like me mentally, or just like me personality wise. I can be like you if I do what you do, or if I listen to you, it's going to make sense to me because I can be, I'm like you. You hang out, you talk about the same stuff I hang out with.
You're
Yeah.
just a person.
That's why my gym is growing so much, because I am relatable. I am the normal guy. I'm not some super rich, famous fighter. I am a normal guy that has just worked my ass off to get 2 black belts.
Mhm.
And because of that, people look at me like, well, fuck, this guy can do it. I can do it, because
Yeah.
I am relatable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's talk about starting a podcast. I'm a big podcast listener.
Yeah.
And at first it seems like, hell no, there's no fucking way I could do that. I'd love to do it. It's like a dream to do it, but it's possible.
Look at you now.
If you put the work in, it's possible for anything. I think.
Yeah.
That's something I think it's like lost today, is people want shit handed to them. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and that's like whether it's jiu-jitsu, for instance, you got to put that fucking work in to progress, to get to the next belt. And with the podcast, I don't know how I just compared a podcast to jiu-jitsu, but with this podcast, like there's a lot of behind the scenes work we have to put in to make this thing continue to progress. And like we were telling you, we've had episodes we recorded where everything's all fucked up. We can't release them. It's like, God damn
Yeah,
it.
Kevin says stupid shit.
Kevin has a little too many
Fucking white claws.
too many white claws and starts no, but it was, I mean, or the audio's fucked up or whatever. And like this, we're recording this right now. Sounds good in my headphones. We get done and the audio could be complete shit, and I lose a whole episode, and it's
Yeah.
So it's these little stresses, and I try not to stress on it too much because I'm trying to approach it like this is something we're doing for fun.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep rolling with it.
And, people can assume it. You never know what someone's putting into something to make it happen. How much gay porn have we been in just to like fund this? Like
we brought up your OnlyFans before, dude. He always
Sorry.
tries to drag me into it, but
What do you mean? Like it's a
his-
team effort.
It's his OnlyFans.
It's a team effort.
But no, like there are sacrifices when you own a business or you're trying to succeed in some. You've made plenty of them to have what you
Look at
have.
what I'm sitting here doing all by
Yeah.
myself right now. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, I've had people come in and help, but like I sat for what time is it?
Almost 4 probably now.
Yeah, I sat here for 2.5, 3 hours just waiting
That's
for an
hard.
inspector to show
Who
up.
else is going to sit here and wait?
Exactly.
Just you.
I mean, I had to build all this stuff, rebuild all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what we do it's a labor of love to get where
Mhm.
we want to be and get what we want to have and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Well,
you
and
know?
learning to like adapt on the fly when you put your whole entire floor down and oh shit, I got to tear it back up now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was
It's-
rough.
And once again, I'll compare what we're doing. Like today, we had something set, ready to roll, podcast wise. That got pushed, and we're like, God damn it! I took the day off work, all that shit, and luckily, I have friends like you, who I could be like, dude, you want to do a podcast? Because
You
I've been
can
wanting.
always rely on me, right?
Yes, yes, and we've been talking about doing this anyway, so I'm glad it worked out. But like, if you want to be successful at things, you got to also know how to adapt and not just like, oh, my whole day's ruined now because I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And keep pushing on as hard as that can be. I mean, it's easy to say, but there's
Yeah, it's just adaptability. People that don't adapt just crumble when things get a little hard. That goes back thousands of years. I'm not really a religious person, but it goes back into the Bible, right? It's easy for like a rich man to give until he's not rich anymore. Then you really see his true colors.
Mm.
But I like being around the people who, no matter what financial position they are, they will give, whether it's physically, financially, mentally to somebody else because they'll be there for them. Those are people that are strong no matter what. If they're rich or they're poor, shit's not going right in their life, they're always going to be a stand-up person. And you'll usually see people like that in weird CrossFit gyms, jiu-jitsu gyms, because these are people who aren't afraid of humility.
Yeah.
Like, I will learn, I will be a student again. And then the people you see doing bro shit out at the regular gyms or not wanting to be humble, wow, go figure, they're selfish assholes, right?
Yeah, I see a lot of that in my gym also. Like we'll get guys that have had one fight come in thinking they're God's gift to MMA, wanting to get free training so that they can put my name out there and I can become famous because of them. And then you get guys like, we have this guy at our gym, Tyson. I mean, the guy's a black belt in a martial art. He knows what he's doing. He's having fun. He's told me he's never fought or anything like that. And it's not something he ever wanted to do. He's about my age, but he's in there and he's got Sophie correcting him on technique. And he's the first one to go, oh yeah, okay, I'll start doing that now.
Yeah,
And
humility.
The guy's my age. He's got a black belt in his own form, whatever form it is that he does. And he's listening to Sophie, who's not a black belt yet, but he understands you're always learning or you're not ever going to get any better.
Yeah. Well, humility is a huge thing, and it's something a lot of people unfortunately lack.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see that a lot in
Well,
martial arts.
Like we talked about I can't remember if it was us talking about this the other day, but it's people growing up these days not being corrected. It's like, oh no, you're great no matter what. Oh, you choked a kid out of school. He's an angel. I don't know why he did that, And it's like, and so now they don't have the humility. They didn't grow up with it. They're getting a ribbon for 7th place. Wow, that person's going to be in prison in 15 years because he's going to have a high self-esteem that he hasn't earned. So he thinks he can do whatever he wants to do and take advantage of people. Next time he's in prison, right? Like they need that. People need that discipline. I'm not saying you have to be abusive. That's what I'm saying. It was like with John, with Vivian, if it's in the fall, it's like, get up, brush your teeth, go rake the leaves. It's not because I'm lazy. I would prefer just doing everything myself, but she needs that.
Yeah.
She doesn't need just to get up and be lazy,
Well, it's
Yeah.
one of the biggest programs they took, I think, took out of my high school. It was a high school or junior high. It was a rank program, and you get our colors were horrible colors, orange and gray. Okay, so orange shorts, gray shirt. If you got a certain level of fitness, you got a star. You got to sew on your shorts. The next step was green shorts. blue shorts, then gold shorts. Gold shorts were there's like 2 kids each year that maybe got gold shorts. And I didn't get anything my first 3 years that I was there. What was it? Or was it first year? It might have been, I can't remember if it was junior high or high school, but let's say it was junior high. My first year, I didn't get nothing. No, it was high school. My first 3 years, I got nothing, not even a star. And I was trying to be in shape, but I wasn't there. And you see all these people ranked with all in PE. They have their shorts, and just looking at them like, I fucking hate you guys. I want those shorts. I want that star. And my last year, I got a star. I was so excited, and I worked my butt off for it, and I did everything I could just to get that star. That was like the first step to actually being athletic. Not even the green shorts, blue shorts, gold shorts. It was a star, and I was so proud of that. And the fact that kids, they took that out of the high school, or the schools, it fucking annoys me, because it's just one less thing they can strive for, one less thing that's teaching them hard work ethic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it also goes like when kids are just, or anybody's just handed stuff, they don't appreciate it. Like you said, how much you appreciate it after busting your ass year after year after year. Then you appreciate it way more when it happens for you.
And keep it simple. I don't know how long people have been saying this. It builds character. So people just said, "Oh, that's an old time thing." Okay, well, I don't want to talk. I'm going to talk shit. Fuck him. Like that boxer Jake Paul. I don't see him having any character. You know,
he's a YouTuber.
He was a YouTuber. He's just one of those like entitled, mouthy kids who gets famous, and all of a sudden, I'm going to be a boxer.
He has a bunch of money.
I see no character development in him, or the people surrounding him, how they were all acting. I saw a video how they were all acting towards Woodley. Like that, where's the respect at? Like that's just not how you talk to people. It's uncalled for, you know. Like I'm surprised he started swinging. Like that was super professional of Tyron Woodley just to stand there and take that, you know. Like,
well, unfortunately, there's a lot of entitled people out there in the world, but like we're trying to do with this podcast is get people on here who are not that way, and show people that there's good fucking people out there. That have worked their asses off for what they have, and so far we've done a good job with getting people like Cruz and our other guests on who have earned their way to whatever they're doing now, and it's kind of cool to show other people that.
That's the one thing I like about martial arts. It is a great equalizer when it comes to that, especially when I get to tell people, no, I'm not going to be wrapping a belt around your waist this time. No, you didn't show up enough. And I don't like getting to do that or having to do that, but I like the fact that I get to choose whether or not they've done enough work, as opposed to going, well, you've paid your due. By dues, I mean money, not real dues where you put in the work, but you paid your dues, enough time's gone by, let's just give you your belt. I'm never going to do that. I never will. It's just, and that's why I like martial arts so much, is because when I'm running it, if you have a belt, you've earned it. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And I mean, that even goes back, because I've watched your kids' classes, little kids, you still make them earn it.
Yeah.
And nothing's handed to them, which I think is really important for kids. Yeah. I think it's important for anybody, but especially when you're developing as a child, it's much better to have to earn the things you have. And that's something, you know, we're all dads trying to teach my own kids. Like, you have to work for stuff. It can't be handed to you. And we've talked about this a bunch on here, how you want your kids to have it better than you had it. But there's a line there where it's like, you don't want it too easy. You want them to have some struggle.
Yeah, you gotta apply the struggle.
There's this saying out there that I really like is don't buy your kids the things that you didn't have. Teach them the things that you didn't learn, or teach them the things that weren't taught to you that you wish you would have taught. I don't know exactly. It was a lot more eloquent than what I can't think of it right now.
I know what you're saying though.
Teach them the things you want them to know, or that you learn, rather than giving them the things that you wanted to have.
Yeah. And if you can't teach them, if you don't know how to teach them, find somebody that does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And something like I've been trying to live by the last few years, because I wanted to turn from being like, because a lot of people don't know how to discern between, am I going to be a strict, stern parent or their friend? Neither. Be a mentor. Because as soon as you have to mentor someone, you check yourself.
Yeah.
Be a mentor. And for a quote that I always say in my own head is, be the person you needed as a child. Like, who did I need? What was I missing? Like, I know exactly what it was. I needed direction and a constant father figure, So I'm going to apply the direction because I always craved it. I craved the military because I wanted someone to be like, here's what you're doing, motherfucker, and here's your goal. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to apply: direction and constantly being there for them. And that's the two big things for me right now, you know?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because a lot of kids, they don't have what they need. And I
Yeah.
know me and you didn't. I don't know how. Well, I do know some of your childhood, so I do know. You've told me some stories, and it's like
I didn't really have what I should have had.
no, and I think if you can make that aspect of your own child's life better, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it was a little bit lack of direction as well, but it was also like we've talked about this, buying the houses we bought in the neighborhood we bought them in. We want our kids to be proud of the place they live at.
Mm-hmm.
That's something neither of us had when we were kids. And it's like, I want them to be proud of where they live and be able to not be embarrassed to have a friend over. You know what I mean? So that's something. It's like, but then you get to that.
See, that's why when you start making them build shit, build shit in the house or out back or out front or wherever, you make them build shit. So when they bring people over, like, hey, come check this out.
Like I did this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but then there's that line too, where it's like, you don't want them to have too nice of things because then they're spoiled, you know what I mean? And it's,
oh man, I'm throwing away so many toys as soon as my wife moves out. Fucking these toys are getting given away.
What we do with that is like, there's not a certain timeline, but every now and then, especially if they're wanting more toys, we say, okay, go to the toy closet, pick out however many toys that you want to donate. And they'll do it. They'll pick them out. And then we take them with us to drop it off at like Salvation Army or Youth Ranch or whatever it is. So they see like, this is going to somebody who didn't have this.
Yep.
They can't get this like you did.
That's what we do. We make them go. We make them go pick out the toys that gotta walk the green mile.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we need to do that. We're due because we have so many damn toys in the house. And like 90% of them they don't touch.
Like when my kids come over to your house, I want it to be easy. So it's like, okay, put away those 10 toys, not like the 47,000.
Oh yeah, you've seen. Yeah, his kids will come play, and the kids will go up and take toys out like kids do. And there's a million toys just fucking, especially his little 3-year-old boy. He's just tearing through like a tornado, wanting to play with everything. And yeah, we need to thin it out a little bit.
Anytime kids come over to our house, they go play in the playroom, and that's where all the toys are.
Mm-hmm.
So all the kids, or most kids that come over now, they all understand the rules. But even when there's a new one, hey, yell downstairs, hey everyone, parents are leaving, clean everything up. The new kids will usually run up.
Yeah.
And then like, what are you doing? Well, it's time to go. Yeah. You see those other kids down there cleaning? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Get down there and clean.
Well, and that's like with his kids, when they were first coming over to our house, it was kind of the same thing. Now, when his kids come over, especially his older daughter, because she can comprehend what's going on more than a 3-year-old, it might take us saying, hey, you got to clean that before you leave, but they do it now. Like last weekend when you guys were over, whenever that was, Vivian cleaned stuff up.
Yeah, it's Colton's kids too. His daughters, when they come over, like, hey, time to clean up. You guys going home? And all the kids just fly into a frenzy of cleaning real quick, and then they run up. They know how it works.
Well, that's actually a conversation me and Kevin were having the other day about like correcting other people's kids or other people correcting your kids. Like if my kid's being an asshole and I'm not there to correct him, I hope somebody does. And I'm that way. I'll correct other people's kids even if I don't know that person. If I see him out of line, I will say something. And like what we were at the park with our kids the other day, and these it's funny because Kevin judges everybody. He's like harsh judgments on everybody before he knows.
I'm not a harsh judgment. It's the yeah, never mind.
You judge.
I can professionally somehow profile people. It's not judging. I profile them.
So
like, oh, you drive a 1998 fucking Dodge Durango. I know what you're about.
Well, to his point,
I get it.
So we're at the park. These kids show up on bikes, probably 12, 13 years old. One of them has his phone playing like this like loud rap, which I was a kid once. I get it. And it was like, full of swear words and all that. And Kevin instantly says, those kids are little shit bags. And I'm like, dude, they might be really good kids. Don't fucking judge them just because they're music. He's like, I'm telling you. Not 5 minutes later, they're on the playground equipment with our little kids dropping the F-bomb here, F-bomb there. And I'm like, God damn it, Kevin, you were right. So I walk over and I'm like, hey, how about we don't talk like that when there's little kids around? I'm like, how would your parents feel about that? And they look stunned that someone said something to them. Nobody ever says anything to those kids. I guarantee it.
Obviously.
And then there's 2 parks there. And I was like, all right, my kids, Kevin's kids, let's go over to the other park. I don't want you hanging out with these guys. And it was like, God damn it, Kevin, you were right.
I've always been a good judge of character though. Whenever like we're in high school and you or Will would bring new friends around, and I would know like that's a fucking dipshit right there. You'd be like, no, he's so cool, and I was always right. Like I know a shit bag when I see one. Like I'm a people watcher and I can't help it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way too. But that was just like I started out working security at bars. And the best time to watch people is when they're drunk. It's the easiest time to tell how they're going to act, what they're going to do. And over time, little by little, earlier in the night, I got better at reading people. So it got to the point where I was reading them walking in the door before they had a drink. I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy's going to be fighting someone here soon. And that's how I got good at reading people.
I'm a decent judge of character. My problem is I give people too many chances. Like I can see it from a mile away that they're going to be a dipshit, but I'm like, maybe they're going to change, or maybe, they did this time. If I give them another shot, they're not going to do it next time. And that's something I've gotten better at as I've gotten older, like learning how to just, nope, you're fucking cut off. I'm done with you. But I still have that issue where I give too many chances.
Everybody always has that asshole in their life.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of a judge of character you are. You know they're an asshole.
Yeah.
But they're your asshole.
Yeah.
They're your asshole.
Well, there's different types of them too. Like there's some that like, I can let it slide because there's so much more I like about the person than that one bad part. But but Kevin, man, he judges everybody, and unfortunately he's usually right. After I'm like, dude, give him a chance.
So what were your thoughts on me firsthand?
Well, because I knew you were a jiu-jitsu instructor, I was like, okay, so he's had struggle. So I was like, there's not going to be an issue.
He's humble.
Yeah. Because
but not all instructors are humble.
You're right. Because when I had initially started it, right before I left for the Army, it was at a place here, and it was the other way around. It was like the typical, like, all right, let's roll like that. And it would just like fuck you up. And then afterwards they invite everyone out to go get high with them. Like, and so, those are not the good kind of guys. Those are not mentors. Those are, I want to have fun doing what I'm doing. So I'll open a gym and then just have a big crew to roll around with. Right. That's how I feel like they were. But all it took, I think, was me meeting you and just saying, oh, super down to earth. You didn't come off as like, what's the word, like bravado. There we go. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, it was like
I was a fighter for you. You never like start with that in a conversation.
No.
I mean, if someone looks at you and they know anything about MMA, they can kind of tell you were a fighter. Your ears give it up, and
right. But someone's when you say anyway, like you were meeting someone, it's like I know it's like the posture.
Yeah.
The posture, the way you walk up to someone, shake their hand, it's like it becomes evident right there. Because a douchebag will literally take his time walking up to you, maybe look away, shake your hand, not looking in your eyes, and then you really know, like, he doesn't give a fuck about me. So why am I going to learn from this person? But when someone sees, like, hey, I'm giving you my undivided attention for 5 seconds, okay, he has respect. So he's probably going to treat me with respect, meaning he's not just going to tap me out in 5 seconds to be an asshole.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like quick right there. It's like, okay.
So you didn't think I was an asshole then?
No.
Nice.
No. It might have helped.
Sorry, I went the long way around.
Yeah, but no, it's the same thing. Like when I first came in your gym with my kid, I think I've told you, we might have talked about this on the first time you were on. Looking at you, I'm like, yeah, he looks like a fighter. Like you look like a rough dude. But as soon as you open your mouth, start talking, I can tell you like had a kind heart, because you're very, what's the word? Like you don't like come on strong to somebody when you talk. You have like a soft tone to your voice. You don't come off as a dickhead. And you have like the rough exterior because you got, well, maybe you didn't get punched in the face, but you punched people in the face for a living for a long time and got punched in the face, I'm sure. So you have a rough look to you, but as soon as you start talking to somebody,
I think he's telling me I'm ugly.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
you look like you got punched in the face.
I'm one to talk, but no, but
my nose isn't smashed, Jake.
That's true. You have a pretty straight nose.
Sitting here telling me I'm ugly and everything.
But no, like you look like a fighter. And then I'm pretty sure I did say this on the first episode. Anytime I tell anybody about you, I'm like, yeah, he looks like a rough dude. He's not like a mean
dickhead. Last night we were talking about something. I don't know what we were talking about, but it came up. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just like a teddy bear. And I look at Jeremy. You know who Jeremy
Mhm.
is, right? One of the jiu-jitsu guys. And I wasn't talking to him when I was saying this. I was talking to whoever I was talking to. I'm like, let's say you're Jeremy. I'm like, oh, I'm just like a teddy bear. I just like to snuggle. And he just started nervously laughing. It was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like first impressions on people are most time right, I think. But then there's times where they're not. Like I said, I give people too many chances. Typically. I had a lot of dumbass friends growing up, the ones that he was talking about, that like he could tell right away. And then we ended up getting in trouble and all that because of those dumbasses.
Dude, I still like that. My favorite fruit's grapples. Dude, I'm still thinking about that. What's your favorite fruit? Grapples.
Well, one of you said grapefruit, the other one said apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just came
Weird.
together.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. I
That
like
might be a
grapples.
good combo.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, I figured it was fitting where we're sitting and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we had you, you were episode number 2, right? He was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That it was funny because you were our second episode, but even up to like the first 5 or 6, you were the most downloaded episode until Sophie came on and she surpassed you, which
Oh, I assume so.
which I didn't see it happening because of
That's 'cause
how
you
many
didn't know her that well.
how
man.
many people you but how many people you know and like your history and fighting and stuff.
We can understand. Like, I'm well known, but I'm the way I like to explain it. You look at what's that movie? Jason Bourne, or there's a part in Ocean's 11 where they tell Matt Damon, you got to be memorable but easily forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I am that guy. Like, I am known by so many famous people, but I don't come to mind when they think about people that do what I do.
You did when Tim Kennedy was on Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, but
That was cool to hear your name mentioned on there. It really was.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, like, I was part of a group of people he was naming off. It's
Yeah.
not like he came straight to me. Like, I am easily remembered, but also easily forgotten. So when people see my name, they go, oh, yeah, no, I want to listen to that. But then when they get time to do it, they don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas like Sophie, she is larger than life.
Oh yeah, bubbly personality.
And she is just big and out there, and everybody loves her.
Mhm.
Everybody that loves her that knows me loves me too.
Yeah.
They don't love me the way they love
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Right.
Like, they'll have to remember to listen to my podcast that I'm on with you. They'll go out and search for
Yeah.
hers.
Well, yours did well, like especially for it being brand new podcast. We didn't have anybody listening. I think because you shared it, you had a lot of people that know you listen. And but then when she came on, we had joked about that when she was on. She's like, yeah, watch my episode Past Cruises jokingly. And after
I could have told you that before she came on.
and it did. And then like I haven't looked in a long time, like at the older episodes, but they kind of have all evened out a little bit in how many listens, because we get all these new people listening who will go back and listen to the old ones as well. Usually it's the first episode. They want to see what we were about in the beginning, which is kind of embarrassing. How bad it sounded. And like you said with these mics, you have to hold them right here.
Yeah.
Because the other ones you could have them across the room and you'd hear me talking.
But you
right
heard
now.
everything.
Yeah, but you heard everything. And
Every
then-
little, like, even the farts you were holding and somehow they popped up.
yeah.
I was holding that in. Like, how did it get on there?
Yeah. So like it's almost embarrassing for people to go back, but then again, it's also cool because they see how we've grown with the podcast.
Yeah, the progress that's one of the biggest things for
Mhm.
anything that people love to see. They love to see that progress. They love to see the achievement and what
Mhm.
you guys are doing and pulling off versus, let's say you were two rich guys that had all the money in the world. Just, I'm going to start with this perfect product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love to see that struggle. And that's what I was talking about earlier.
I don't know. It's important, I think, to see people grow too, but it is embarrassing especially since we don't have, like I say, older episodes. We don't have that many episodes. We've done 30 something.
Mhm.
So it's not that long ago where it's like, this sounded really shitty, but
But still progress.
Just got to keep growing.
But yeah,
Gotta keep
I
growing.
could have told you from day one, Sophie would have so many more views.
It
than mine
also
would.
helped that Chuck did share her episode. That helped too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he shared it.
Oh,
And because
nice.
she messaged me, she's like, "Oh shit, you made it!" Because Chuck Liddell shared our podcast, which was fucking cool. That was awesome to see. But I think when you were on, John shared yours.
Yeah.
And that was big too. I mean, he's a fucking legend in the martial arts world.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to my boss, my old boss, in sighting, and I think it was like last month or something. And when I first went to work for him, I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm an ex-fighter. I used to do this and that. I've done some construction. And he told me, he's like, yeah, when you told me that you were an ex-fighter, I thought you were just another one of these clowns from around here that thought he was going to be some new up and coming fighter that maybe had a fight. And I just figured, oh, fuck, I got to deal with this again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but it didn't turn into that though, did it? He's like, no, you showed up. I figured out who you were. And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is legit.
Like real deal. Well, and that's the thing, like, especially living where we live in Idaho, there's not many fighters out of here. There's becoming more nowadays. Like, I know SBG has a few pro fighters. But
The only one I know from there really is Jesse. He pretty much has the same fucking backstory I do.
really,
Jesse he's such a good
see,
guy.
and I don't
fucking
know
love that guy.
much about him. I know who he is.
You should
but-
get him on here. He
Actually,
was part
that'd
of
be a good one.
He was part of Team Alpha Male.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And with I think minus like 4 or 5 years, he
Mhm.
has the exact same backstory as I did.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just with that team instead of the pit fight team.
I
you what
know
mean?
they have one
Okay.
woman fighter out there she fights for
Vita?
Bellator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really good friends with my brother-in-law's girlfriend. And she's trying to get her to come on. And she's like, I told her all about you. She's going to reach out. She hasn't reached out. So I'm like,
Talk to
maybe
Jesse.
I'll
Get
reach
Jesse
out.
on here. That'll change.
But he'd be a good one. And also it helps. I told you
he's real
about,
quiet though. He doesn't talk a lot.
that will,
You know what you can ask him about passing out in the lawn chair in my house, out my backyard.
yeah,
All the kids were sitting around him, like 'cause there's like 6 of us sitting in lawn chairs just chilling,
Mhm.
and he passed out, and all the adults went up to the deck, and all the kids sat around him. He's just laying there, passed out in the lawn chair.
no, he'd be a good one. That is somebody I might reach out to, because I told you about the guy Paul Sharp, which now he's coaching his gym.
Yeah,
So I kind of have an in with him, and I have an in through you too. So yeah, he might be one to reach out to.
yeah, he'd be a good one to have if you can get him to talk.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm sure he's got a lot of stories.
we've had a couple people on here who didn't seem like big talkers, but you put a mic in front of them and they start talking, and that's kind of cool to watch, because we've luckily not had a dud yet of an interview. Like, we've had a couple people we don't know anything about them other than what we've seen online.
Yeah,
Then it's like, man, we're gonna get them on. They're gonna suck. And we've had a couple that started off kind of rough, and it's like, this episode's gonna go in the trash. But then they something happens, like they get more comfortable or what. But
Or I mean, we're likable, I guess,
we try to be.
and we're not doing a podcast to be dicks to people. So it's
No.
like I'm gonna talk shit about other people that aren't here because I'm tough. But but you know, if we feel uncomfortable, it's like, well, we're gonna make them comfortable. We're
Yeah.
gonna make them
Yeah.
like us, and then
well,
get
you're
it.
not gonna
you
be
know.
like that Zach Galifianakis between
Oh, the
two
between two
trees,
ferns.
ferns or whatever. Yeah,
Well, no, like we had another pro fighter on after you. He fights for Bellator. He lives down in Florida, and we had him on through Zoom. I met him once. That's how I kind of knew him, for about 15 minutes. So I didn't know much about him. I've watched him fight, and I reached out to him online. He came on, but going into that, it's like, I don't know this guy at all. He could be a complete dickhead, or he could just not want to talk. And it started off rough. The first thing he said when we started, he's like, so how long does this thing go? Like 15, 20 minutes? And me and Kevin look at each other like, we never listened to a podcast before. They usually go longer than that. I think he was saying that to have an out. If we were idiots, he could be like, oh, okay, well, I got to go, guys. It turned out being like 45 minutes. It was a good conversation. It got good. And I've been rooting for him ever since, because I
odds are
like the guy now.
90% of the fighters that you're going to do this with, they're going to be fucking decent people.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they could talk or not.
Yeah, yeah.
The other 10%, sorry to be you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And
Good luck.
like I said, we've been lucky so far with even people we don't know. And then there's people like I said, we see them online. We respect what they're doing with their business or something. We've never met them in person. They could be a complete dick, but we've been lucky so far.
That's good. That's good.
I hope it continues to go that way. But then, like, guys like you, who I know you're going to be good. And I know I could sit and have a conversation with you because we've done it off mic 100 times.
Well, you know that if one becomes a dud, shit, Cruz, we need to
Dude,
do another
you're-
one.
you're the man.
Can we come do one with you real quick for this week?
Yeah. Well, dude, I was surprised today because it was a last minute thing. I was like, shit, he's probably coaching classes. He's probably busy. I shouldn't even bug him. But I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to shoot my shot and see if he answers.
Yeah,
So,
shoot your load, dude.
yeah, I just shot my load.
We talking
but-
about OnlyFans again?
Yeah. Well, Kevin's OnlyFans, he likes to kind of keep it a secret, but he wants people to find it, so he always mentions it. But
Yeah, it's actually just mostly me eating ice cream in front of people. in a crop top.
Is it like that blind guy, the guy that sits around and he's blind and he does it real sensually in front of women until they really get all crazy about it, and then he gets up with his blind.
I have no idea. I've never heard of
I
that.
haven't
Ever seen
either.
that? There's
No.
videos. It'll be a guy. He's wearing sunglasses. He doesn't have his cane out or anything, and he's licking ice cream just as sensual as he can when there's women around.
Yeah.
He might not be blind because I assume he sees these women and he's doing it on purpose.
Mhm.
And when they start like making motions and like, hey, what's up? Flip out his cane, stand up, and start walking away, and then you'll see them making the oh shit face, like, oh, I thought he was doing that to me.
That's funny.
Yeah, I guess if you can't see it, it feels better, right?
You should really start an OnlyFans, Kevin.
Yeah, let me just thin out a little bit.
Oh, like I legit thought he actually had.
No, he
one when
doesn't.
You guys were talking about this.
It doesn't. We joke about it all the time though. But
I mean, I honestly could see it.
No, we just run with jokes and don't let up on them. Like the time Benito took me out, was it for my birthday? I think I was turning 29. This is a few years ago, and we went to this little bar. It was basically us and a ton of women in there. And Benito the whole time made it appear that we were a couple. And then after the lady thought we were a couple, and she made a comment. He was like, "Oh yeah, I need to grab my hand." Just like nonchalant, like he just kept it going, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
He's really good at my brother-in-law. He's really good at like deadpan, staying serious when it's a complete joke, and he'll make everybody uncomfortable, including his friends who know he's fucking around. Like, dude, break character now, and he won't. And he'll do that. We used to be driving down the road, and he'd reach over and grab my hand. We'd be sitting at a stoplight, and he'd grab my hand, and he'd look over, and he'd go, "We're gay," and we were teenagers, and I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" But that's just him.
Yeah.
So, not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but
no, it was just how the joke just doesn't it's like, "Oh, I'm just joking." It's like it went on for 3 or 4 hours until, actually, I don't think we told anybody. We just like left, like, "Bye, have a good night."
But yeah, Kevin's OnlyFans has been a running joke on here for a while. So when he does start one, everybody will be ready for it.
But the fact that I wasn't surprised and I thought it was legit, I mean, well, you might have something there. You guys were talking about doing something outside of the podcast.
Good point. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say recently, but soon to be a single man.
Mm-hmm.
You could start up an OnlyFans, sell feet pics or whatever they do on there.
I guess feet are the new boobs, right?
Dude, I've heard stories of people, even like men, making a bunch of money doing that shit.
Really? I've been told I got nice feet.
That's so weird. You should put them on there. That's so weird, though. I mean, especially women make a bunch of money on there, I guess. And
I bet.
I guess there's people that are into everything.
You know what? You know what I read? There's people on there like chefs that have OnlyFans that do it purely to sell like what they're cooking. Like they don't get any kind of nudity or anything like that. It's
that's how I started this whole joke. Yeah. Was we're starting an OnlyFans page to cook pancakes or something.
Yeah, you said cooking pancakes naked.
Yeah, there we go.
Which, it's funny is I put a little clip on YouTube of him saying that, and I titled it "Cooking Pancakes Naked." It got so many fucking views, and it's probably I was telling him it's probably a bunch of 15-year-old kids typing in "naked" on YouTube. Yeah, and that comes up, and they're like, "Yes," and then it's us sitting there talking about cooking pancakes.
A couple of dad bod white guys.
Yeah, but no. I don't know why that all came up, but Kevin's OnlyFans, guys, check it out. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
We'll put it like a world premiere or something.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. But anyway, so let's get back to your new spot. When do you think you're going to be open there? Do you even know yet?
I'm hoping here in the next week and a half or two.
Yeah.
Our grand opening is coming up pretty soon. So yeah, hopefully inside.
Well, now that as of today, you got the go ahead to finish some shit up.
Yeah, we might be opening up a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I mean, I've been reposting shit on our Instagram for it.
Oh, thank you.
But when we'll release this,
I don't really get on the Instabook or the Facegram.
Yeah, dude, it's a weird thing because I've always had social media, but I've never really used it to promote how cool I am or anything.
Yeah, but did you ever have the MySpace?
I sure as shit did. It's probably still there. I bet all of our MySpace
teenage girls off since fucking day one. Who's your top 8?
Yeah. Oh, I bet if you went to MySpace, they're all probably still there too.
They are. I checked on mine the other day.
Yeah,
I don't know how to get in, but it's still there.
I'm sure. And but no, I've had social media and stuff forever. And there was like a time with Instagram, I was like trying to post pictures of myself, but it got uncomfortable. Like, I'm like, I'd rather just post pictures of my kids and shit.
Yeah.
But
That's what I do.
since we started the podcast, I'm trying to push the podcast. I don't feel as weird about that because it's not me. I'm not a narcissist. I don't want to push just myself.
Yeah.
If it's like what me and Kevin are doing with this, I feel comfortable
You
with
know
it.
how hard it was to post all them fucking fights of myself?
Oh, dude, that was awesome. By the way,
I
I'm
still
glad
got
you
like
did.
5 fights left that I haven't posted.
I watched every single one you posted, and I'm glad you did that because it was cool.
Even all the rough beats that I had.
Well, and my kids who have had you as a coach both loved to see that. I showed both of them your fights, and I was like, "See, this is what Cruz did before he was coaching you guys." And
Right.
they were both like in awe, like, "Holy crap!"
You know how long it took me to finally pull the trigger on that?
I'm glad you did.
I hate putting
Yeah.
stuff about
Mhm.
any
It's
of my
uncomfortable.
accolades online or like.
It's because you feel like a dick when you're posting
Yeah,
how cool you are.
Absolutely.
And like, I think that's why, like with your gym, you could push it about your gym because it's your business. When you don't even do the posting.
No,
It's
I let
filthy.
Sophie do. I can't do it. I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like, and I'm not knocking anybody who does post themselves. So good on you. But I'm
Honestly, I wish I could.
Me
do
too.
it.
Me
I
too.
wish I could be better about
me
it.
too.
Yeah.
But like with the podcast, I don't feel as weird because it's not just about me. It's about our guests. We're trying to highlight our guests more than ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've had people tell us like, hey, we like the behind the scenes stuff because I've posted a couple things. Like I posted Kevin beatboxing one day. He was and we didn't even air that, but we had it on video and he's sitting there beatboxing and I was standing up getting shit ready and I was like dancing to his beatbox. And the little clip was funny. I posted it, people fucking loved it. And I'm like, okay, I was telling Kevin, we need to post like more behind the scenes of me and you because people seem to like it. So like on the drive down here, I just took little tiny short videos and
Yeah.
Well,
posted
if you
them.
think about it, you got a little machine out here. What's the first thing anybody's gonna want to do? They're gonna want to look inside that machine.
Yeah.
See how it works.
Yeah.
See how the
That-
sausage is
the
made.
Curiosity is just a natural human instinct
Yeah.
of how things are done. There's a
Mhm.
scientist in all of us. It's whether or not you get a chance to use it, but
Yeah.
there's a scientist in all of us.
Yeah, we're
curious about
curious.
how things work.
That's
And
why I hated, but also appreciated movies from like the 80s and 90s because they would like good movies, like, thrillers and sci-fi, because they left so much to think about. You're like, how did that happen? How did it end? Where did they come from? Especially in the sci-fi movies, where like you wanted to know, like what's the backstory here? Like an Alien, for instance, where did they come from? What are they doing now? Like you have that box and that curiosity. So you want to know what's inside, like you're saying, like, yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
That's one of the reasons why Unsolved Mysteries was such a
Yes.
huge
Yeah.
hit.
Well, and especially if it's something that you already have an interest in, you want to know more about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a podcast listener and I love when I see the behind the scenes of a podcast. If people are listening to this, they obviously
And
are
that's
interested in
that
it. So
comes
I
full
guess
circle to like what I was saying before. When you show the behind the scenes, you see the fuck ups, you see the stuff that it takes to get there, and it's stuff that other
Mhm.
people can do, and it makes you more relatable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like I've thought about, because we have a website and I posted a couple pictures of us on there so people can kind of know who we are. Even that felt weird. Like I have a couple cool pictures of like me and you practicing takedowns. I have a picture. I
Yeah.
love that picture. And I'm like, I thought about posting that on our podcast once people kind of know, but I'm like, no, I feel like a dickhead posting that. Like,
And
hey,
where-
everybody, I do jujitsu.
Where I'm sitting here, I'm thinking
Check
this
me out.
motherfucker should be posting that kind of shit
Yeah.
on his, but I can't.
And I did
can't do
post it.
either.
I
Yeah.
posted it on my personal one back when I think I was trying to do that tournament thing,
Yeah.
but it's just weird to me to like promote yourself, but people who can, I mean,
Well,
good for them.
Yeah. And to continue on that point, there's some people who still think, and this kind of goes back to like a generational thing where a lot of, especially the males, didn't want their kids to see them fail. They're always like, I guess it's kind of like a security thing in their mind. Like, I'm always in charge. I'm always at the top. The kid sees them as this figure to look up at. But for them not to see you fail, what happens when you get old and they have to wipe your ass? It's super uncomfortable. They don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
I think it's important for kids, like you're like them, like your kids watched him fighting.
Mhm.
It's important to see him fail. Like, oh shit, he can take a punch too,
Mhm.
because they just see him as this. Because they're young kids, they just see him
Yeah.
as like this godly figure who knows everything. And then now when they can see like, oh, he takes hits, he can fail, it's more relatable again.
Yeah.
And it's actually more healthy for that relationship than it is for them not to see that.
Yeah.
And that's been like proven, because some people still live by that. And it's been proven by many child psychologists. Like, no, they need to see you fail.
I think it's good
You
to
know.
be.
See, those aren't even the ones that I have a hard time posting the wins.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Well, it's because
losses,
you
I don't
feel
care
like a
about.
narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's how awesome I am. Here's other, like, yeah,
But
exactly.
I think like this is another thing we've touched on this podcast is transparency, especially with people that you want to take in what you're putting out, your business, whatever it is. Transparency is huge. People like it.
Yeah.
And it's like we had an episode of just me and Kevin, and we were talking about transparency. And out of nowhere, he started talking about he's going through divorce. I didn't know he was going to do that. And I was like, are you sure you want that out there? And he's like, yeah, dude, I want to be transparent with the people that are listening to this.
Well, like leading up to that too, lots of podcasts, right? Especially once you started recording, it was obvious. Like, I'm just like sitting there, I like zoned out, and then zone back
you
in and
had
talk to
shit going
somebody.
on in your life.
I was just like, I was trying to keep it together. Like I was leaving those and trying not to have a panic attack.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like so it was just
Well,
like,
and when you did say that, I had a bunch of people reach out to us saying like, hey man, we're here for Kevin. Actually, Colton reached out. He was one of them.
Fucking
he's
Colton,
been like-
he's that guy is probably one of the most good-hearted
Dude,
people I've
he
ever
has
met.
been supporting this podcast since
He's
the
my
day
asshole.
we
though.
started. Yeah, and he
He's
is
one of them.
he is kind of an asshole, and I like him. It's funny because me and Kevin went to high school with Colton. Never hung out with him because we thought that dude's an asshole. Want nothing to do with him. He was just a different crowd, different type of person. And then I met him in jiu-jitsu. That's a cool thing about jiu-jitsu too, or martial arts in general. You can become friends with people you never thought you'd be friends with because
Yeah.
you're sharing that struggle on the mat, and they're sweating on you, sweating
Blood,
in your
sweat, and
mouth,
tears.
choking you, you're
Mhm.
choking them. And then me and Colton became buddies. And yeah, that's one dude. And I know he listens. So what's up, dude? But he's been supporting this podcast since we started. He shares almost every episode with his friends, and
He does.
he's
that
a big supporter.
for anybody that he really cares about. Like he shares any and everything
Yeah.
he can to make sure that they can get.
Yeah.
The
He's got a good heart, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is a really. I don't care what he tries to show people.
Yep.
He is a really good person.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
he's a good person.
But Colton, you're still an asshole. Anyways.
But you're our asshole.
Yeah. But no, he's been supporting it. We have a few people. You're one of them too. That's like since we started this have just been there. Like you today, I called you. Yeah, let's do it. I'm here.
And they just happen to be wearing.
And he's
the
wearing
shirt.
a Mission Prep shirt, supporting. Yeah. So
And no, I didn't run home as soon as you asked.
I could
me
tell
to go
it.
get it.
You could tell you were doing
I've
work.
been
on it.
working.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. When you walked out, that was the first thing I thought was he put that fucking shirt on because we're coming down here. And then I realized it had dirt on it and shit. Wow.
But I also told you I had to sit here and
Yeah.
wait for the
Yeah.
inspector, so I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that went well. That'll be good to get this place
Ah, you
done.
and me both.
A little big weight off your shoulders, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I guess we can wrap up.
Okay.
We didn't really talk much about you, but it was kind of cool to sit and talk with you.
I'm all right with
Yeah,
that.
I know. Well, and I think I told you that in the beginning. Like we've tried to make this less like an interview and
Yeah.
more like people are listening to us talk to each other.
Yeah. What we kind of found we naturally started doing, it wasn't really what we tried to do on purpose, is like no matter who we were talking to, it became like this philosophical exchange of like, who are you as a person? Like no matter who we've been talking to, it turned into
Yeah.
that versus like, what's your product about? Oh, cool. It was just like, you get to know people. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I think that's maybe why it's working.
Well,
you
even
know?
the first time you were on, we started with, and that's back when I was like trying to do like questionnaires and shit, and they were stupid, but like we started with talking about your background, but we got into, like he said, more kind of philosophical stuff, and the conversation rolls, and that's more natural, anyways.
That's Sophie was kind of bummed when you guys were
I
doing the superhero.
I didn't ask her what her superpower was. Yeah,
Superpower,
no,
yeah.
she was a good guest too. She like you said, she just naturally has
Honestly, I told her
that.
if she wanted to, she could be famous inside 6 months.
Dude, she could start a fucking podcast and it'd be successful, guaranteed. She's got the personality for it.
It does not. It could be anything. Anything she starts is gonna be
Yeah.
fucking gold.
it could be like a spin-off of one of ours, like Fighter in the Fat.
Fighter in the fat.
Sorry.
But no, you're right. She does have that personality where
Everybody wants to be around
Yeah.
her. Everybody wants to be her. Everybody loves her.
well, I think that's like watching her with like the kids classes. She's fucking awesome.
She's amazing.
But you're really good with kids too, though. That's something I'll give you credit for,
I don't
big
know
time.
about that,
You
but
are
okay.
like on a personal note, my son who's autistic, who has a hard time with some things, you are so good about like pulling him aside and telling him like, hey dude, this is how it is. And he responds to you.
You make me sound like I'm a fucking fucking dictator.
Well,
This is how it
sometimes you
is.
have to be a little bit.
Mr. Miyagi.
But like, and that's where it comes to like correcting other people's kids and stuff too. You're correcting other people's kids all day when
Yeah, I
when
don't
you're
give a
teaching
fuck.
them. And
I don't care.
that-
If they're in my space, whether it's my
Yeah.
house, my gym,
I agree.
you have no say so of
Yeah.
what I'm telling them.
Well, and like
Yeah.
like with him or with any kid, hearing it from somebody who's not your parent
so much
almost
easier.
always works.
So much easier to take it in.
And that's another thing I miss about my kids coming to your gym all the time is I could, when they're being shitheads, I could be like, you want me to call Sophie and Cruz about this? I just say that. No,
I mean,
no.
what's stopping you from saying that?
I know. I should. I should. And it's funny, like, especially with Byron, my little one, you have to bribe him with shit to make him stay on the right track. And I think that's a lot of kids. But that's a method I've learned that works with him. It's like if he has something to look forward to or something that there's going to be something on the other end of him being a good person, he'll continue that path. And
He's just goal oriented.
well, and it's getting better to
Mhm.
where he's striving to be a good person on his own. But like right now, he has a Disneyland trip coming up. That's our thing right now. Anytime he even starts to act up, I say, Disneyland. That's all I have to say. And he's like, boom, right back on track. Because it's his godmother. She lives down there. She's going to take him to Disneyland. Because they're reopening, I guess, at like 25% capacity, which would be fucking awesome. No lines.
Thoughts.
They'll still be lines.
But so like if you give him something to look forward to, it's good. My other son, it's like having you was awesome because it's like someone who's not his parent telling him this is how it's going to go. Man, he responded to that, and he's gotten better with responding to his own parents as he gets older. But dude, wait till you see him. He's like a grown man.
that's bullshit. That's not supposed to happen.
Oh, dude, it's. I mean, he's huge. He's like getting fit too because he's doing that running club I was telling you about. But,
Yeah, my kids are still tiny. My
yeah,
kids
but
are
they're little
10.
savages. I've seen your kids on the mat, beasts. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up then.
All right.
Thank you for doing this. Yeah, we didn't have a camera last time you were on, so
No,
if you guys
no, we
want to see
didn't.
Cruz's beautiful face, even though I called him ugly, check out the YouTube.
Go look it up. I look like a Goomba from the live action Super Mario Brothers movie from, I think, back in the 80s. Go look it up. Goomba.
There he is. All right, you good?
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. All right.